Tobago under Commanding General YAHANNA. We will be live on the streets at 91.9 FM every Thursday from 7 p.m. Hosted by Officer Swat Yala and Officer Makoya. ISUPK under Commanding General YAHANNA. Live every Thursday night from 7 p.m. on the streets 91.9.
Right, yeah, shalom again.
Shalom,
Yeah.
shalom.
Right, again, this is ISUPK, Trinidad and Tobago, under Commanding General YAHANNA, and every time we mention and we say under Commanding General YAHANNA because everything have order,
Right.
and the structure and order where the Most High God had to recognize and give authorization in everything that is done was always from the beginning, right? And being under that order of the Most High and of King Yahushai, we follow the men that follow those orders. And Commanding General YAHANNA, a long outstanding brother, in the truth, waking up brothers through the four corners of the earth, we being, privileged in the spirit of the Most High in Christ, to hear the truth, right? Which is, again, the gospel, which is where a lot of people don't understand that, as the scriptures say, through the foolishness of preaching, right? We understood, as young black men, searching for truth, searching for knowledge, searching for the understanding of why it is, black people keep on facing the conditions that they face daily, right? And having that privilege, in that same spirit where the Most High God, just as Christ mentioned that, that no man come unto me lest the Father draw him, right? And we've been drawn, through knowing that the Bible is all recorded history. Black people, Hispanic people, and Native Indian people.
Right.
This is a family history book, and having the privilege, to be able to come before, brothers and sisters, just like we were searching for the truth, the Most High God, using this platform, through the four corners of the earth, and many brothers on different, programs, because again, don't feel that this is the only radio program that that that's be on. We've been on many top name radio program. Commanding General YAHANNA has been on BBC already, bringing out the truth, and this is nothing new, especially learning the truth and learning under righteous black men. So again, is a reminder for brothers and sisters that we have a school location, right? The school location is number 1 Morris Street, Point 14, right? Again, you can go up on our webpage, right? ISUPK Trinidad and Tobago, right? We are on all, social media platforms, right? Check us out, right? We have also a coming food and clothing drive, right? Tune in or, keep posted on, the pages, because the information would go out on the pages on them.
Right.
And we'd also, post it on all the different media platforms that we would be on, right? So all this is just, to enlighten and to remind the people that, just as, our king had commissioned, the men to go out and feed the people, we do so as well, and feeding the people and, bringing them back to the mindset where we, have moved away from, which is to, to really understand what it means to love your brother. So again, tonight I'm Prison Officer Sawapiala here.
Prison Officer Matkoya.
Prison Officer Barrier.
Right. So again, we up here on the Street 919 FM radio station. Again, want to big up, the host, for hosting us as well. Right. And having the privilege to be able to bring out the truth, to our brothers and sisters in Trinidad and Tobago, and throughout, wherever the, the station, people is logged and listening on as well. Right. So what we looking like tonight, Akim?
All right. What we looking at tonight? I think we will be going into a little bit about the Christmas season, because that fast approaching. Right. Although you might be hearing about the wars and you ain't getting no information from the leaders above us, You understand? No religious leader ain't coming out and saying, well, these is the things happening.
Right.
You know what I mean? We can't forget or lose focus on what the Lord commanded us as a people to do.
That's right.
You understand? So that's why we're going to touch on Christmas. We're going to touch on that today. Next week, Lord Allah, we'll go into some history and continue on it, you know, leading up to the Christmas season, because this time is a very serious time. This time is a time whereby most of our people, we don't have the understanding and the knowledge that Christmas is in the Bible.
That's right.
You understand? We don't understand that these holidays that was made by men, we are not supposed to be celebrating it. Some of us might say, you know, yeah, I know we ain't supposed to be celebrating it, but we're just doing it for the children. You understand? But what we don't realize is generation after generation, once we keep doing it, that's what's going to keep happening to our children and their children after, and keep going on. You understand? That's something that happened to us.
Right.
And when I say happened to us, look, today in 2025, people still celebrating Christmas. You understand? And Easter and birthdays and all these different things. These things is commanded by the Most High for us not to celebrate, you know? So we're going to touch on that through the duration of the night.
Right. And, you know, and just as you brought all that as well too, because, again, a lot of these, especially, you know, in learning, like any, you know, individual will attend, you know, any classroom, you know, environment, let me say a learning environment, you know, sometimes, you know, the classes might go, you know, let me say beyond the allotted time.
Right.
So you might say you have a 45-minute, you know, period to teach this class, right? Again, and again, it goes the same as well, because in teaching or giving, you know, the full understanding and the breakdown as what we would say, you know, what is recorded in our records, Christmas, you know, is very informative as well too, because the history lead way back, you know, to the point where, you know, the other nations or the heathens, you know, that took charge or hold over, you know, the homeland, which is Jerusalem, you know, and wherever we were scattered about, you know, our customs were forced and were, you know, made known that any practice or custom of those customs which this family or this house would practice, you know, they should be put, you say, or unalive or put to death, right? And this is very important, because now the history of it, right? You know, just like, you know, the officer was bringing out, right? You know, is something that we would definitely go into, and, you know, to show that the history, it would line directly up in line with our records. And we have stories as well in our recorded history as well, to make it more, as we say, more foundational and more solid, to where, you know, brothers and sisters could, you know, do the research, you know, themselves. Because again, a lot of, you know, these organizations, especially, you know, the men that were supposed to be gatekeepers, and was, you know, from time to time, you know, and every time we come on this platform, because again, there were men that were commissioned to, you know, to hold fast to this truth, and, you know, to protect the nation and to protect the people. And they, you know, being, you know, running after their own desires or their own lusts, you know, left that gate open. And because of leaving that gate open, you know, we as we say, we were led, as we say, we were most vulnerable to every doctrine and philosophy that the earth could present. Every doctrine and philosophy that the earth could present. And, you know, as I say, being privileged, you know, in the spirit of the Most High in Christ, where, you know, we were able to really, you know, sit and shed ourselves, because again, the ISUPK, you know, has a 90-day, you know, as we say, cleansing, as you say, or refresher program, where brothers and sisters, you know, could sit in the class in 90 days and, as you say, shed yourself at the world, you know, things that you thought that you had former knowledge about, we would see that it was totally the opposite, right? It was totally the opposite, and this being one of them. This is why, you know, as we say, as the seasons come about, you know, we would teach and bring the understanding, especially on topics like this, because it's important for us, right, to know the truth, right? And I think Like John 8:33, you shall know the truth. You seek it,
Yeah.
grab that. Because that's important as well. Because
Okay.
even our king mentioned this. Because now it is like this. You want to be free from something, right? You know, all black people, they say, I just want to be free
Right.
from all that going on right now.
Right.
And we're hearing it every day. Because we just be tuning into, as we say, or listening to different radio programs as well.
Right.
And when you hear or you listen, you know, the conversation that a lot of, you know, our brothers and sisters, as we say, that just be bringing out on this platform is like, wait, you know, the Lord, you know, is giving brothers and sisters the opportunity to really actually know what the truth is,
Right.
and not to defer or differ away from it, but
Okay.
you know, to ask questions. You have it?
Can.
Right? Go ahead.
The book of John 8 and verse 32.
Right.
And ye shall know the truth.
Right. And this is our King, Jesus Christ, or Yahweh, which you know we would again tell brothers and sisters, because again we have a Hebrew class every Friday. You can go up on our webpage, right? There's a young brother from the UK, right? Officer Rowan,
Okay.
right? You know, he does, you know, again, a very informative, and many brothers, you know, Officer Hazahab out in, you know, Harlem,
Right.
right? You know, to giving, you know, a very in-depth breakdown, you know, on the Hebrew, especially us knowing, you know, our native tongue.
Right.
And as we, you know, learn this, and as you know, our King mentioning, ye shall know the truth. Go ahead. You can start over from the beginning.
Can.
Mm.
And ye shall know the truth.
Right.
And the truth shall make you free.
And this is why we could come on this platform and really bring this out, because now to understand what it is to be free, now, you know, it's something that, you know, you wouldn't be censored to, because you know, as you say, we understand the backlash
Right.
that does come in speaking the truth, because the truth does one thing and it does nothing else. The truth does check you. So when you hearing the truth, if you ain't getting checked, that means they say, well, hey, something wrong.
Right.
Because now this is nothing to water down. Because now we're talking about, as we say, talking about Christmas. Everybody air open. Now, just as we say, we could go inside of the records and show that, hey, this was a custom and a practice that used to, you know, happen way before now. We just come, as we say, during the time, as we say, coming over here, our forefathers, you know, through the transatlantic slave trade,
Right.
you know, coming across here, and you know, not knowing that we are the, as we say, the true people, or as we say, the Jews, right? The people who were in Jerusalem at that time, and again through the Roman army, you know, just like our King mentioned, you know, surrounding Jerusalem, and due to that siege of that surrounding, we had was a flee. And in fleeing, you know, we end up where we call in West Africa, or on the continent of Africa. And, you know, being there, you know, we continue to, you know, practice our customs, our way, our laws. And again, all this is history. And, you know, in doing that, you know, the Africans and them, you know, they were, again, going through, as we say, their drought as well. And in any research that we see on National Geographic, you know, as we say, our professor does, he does a thorough research.
Right.
And in that thorough research, his research was to find these people, if they still exist, which they does.
Right.
Because now imagine you coming across here, you know, as we say, and you know, saying that you're asking or permission to come and search a goal, right? And the goal that you were really looking for was, you know, the people of the Lord.
Okay.
Because now you want everybody in the earth know or want to know if these people still exist,
Right.
and they're still in these other nations. They're still in doubt. But the Lord doing something right now. He bringing this fact, or this known fact, that the Jews, as I say, or the children of Israel, is alive and well today.
Right.
And that they, in any search or any biblical search or any history, that a lot of people now will come out, and this is why we say we're not affiliated with no religious group or organization. Because a lot of these religious group or organization who starting to talk about, as you say, the Israelites, and who they are, they learn this from where the platform that we are on right now.
Right.
And again, the Lord always preserve. He always preserve, the remnant of his reputation. And Commanding General YAHANNA, again, being, a product of that, and being able to give that, that thorough breakdown, again, of the men that were before him, and being, privileged to sit amongst these great men, right? And when I say great men, that the Lord worked through and had the spirit of these men to be able to break this down, and him not changing anything. Because the privilege I gain this direct is a great privilege,
Right.
and not being watered down.
Okay.
And we as a people, as a family, we need this information more than ever. All that, as we see, that taking place and going on, just as I mentioned, round about us, we need this.
Right.
We need this.
So
we need this truth. Yeah, go
so
ahead, Alan.
like I say, family, we need it to make us free. As we just reading in the scriptures, the truth is going to make us free.
Right.
So-called black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, listening, if you could, let's give him Deuteronomy 600, 600 Bible question.
Right.
To the so-called black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man who outside there listening.
Right.
This truth is going to make you free. When we tied to the doctrine and philosophies of these other nations, you understand?
Mm-hmm.
You will be getting to understand and be clothed in your culture, your history, and your ways.
Right.
Or for Father Moses, he left something for us. You understand that we should understand. We're going to read a little bit about it, and then we're going to get into Christmas as Officer Swapia, all right, for the bringing out.
Right.
You understand? But we have to take heed to this book, because right now the churches and the religious leaders, they gain up with Christmas trees even in their institutions.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? They gain up for Christmas. Some churches already have the trees in their buildings and their establishments already.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And it's not going to make the black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man be free.
Right.
You understand? Be free from these doctrines, be free from these philosophies, be free from these burdens. Because many of our people celebrating Christmas year after year, generation after generation, we starting to understand. And not when I say we are talking about the common man on the outside, starting to understand that is just burdensome.
Right.
You understand? Some people not even going through that again. Some people saying, but I'm not celebrating Christmas. Not because they understand they're not supposed to be celebrating Christmas, but it's because it has become burdensome.
Right.
And these are some of the burdens that the oppressors put on our people.
Right.
You understand? Christmas being one. Birthdays being the next one. Every year you have to buy gifts and do this and do that. New Year's Day, the celebration on New Year's Day. You understand? We have to prepare, make sure this clean, that dude. And just keep putting burdens on our people, generation after generation. These things are not supposed to be celebrated. These things have dark history. As the officers rightfully bringing out a while ago, we'll go into the history of that next Thursday, coming Lord allow, but we're going to show you in the scriptures where our forefather Moses, what our forefather Moses told us. We're going to show you where the Lord showed us we're not supposed to be celebrating Christmas. And you black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man should take heed.
That's right.
Listen and understand what's really going on. And then match it up. Match it up with your religious leader and see if he teaching you anything inside this book. See if he teaching you what the Lord wanted to know. When you have a go ahead, Baba Kusha.
The book of Deuteronomy 6 and verse 12.
Go ahead.
Then beware lest thou forget the Lord, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage.
You understand? Our forefathers telling us here, beware. Beware we forget who? The Lord. Why are you saying beware we forget the Lord? Because blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we is the kind of people we like to adapt to other nations and their philosophies and their doctrines. Why? Because we are not being taught. the Bible. We are not being taught our way, our culture. Moses tells us, least we forget. Don't forget. You understand the things that our forefather gave us, the thing that our forefathers left us. You understand? When we came out of the land of Egypt. Look, today in 2025, we're still celebrating Christmas. We're still going to go into the new year, celebrating New Year's Day, which is after another God. We're still getting up and gathering wild meat. The foods that the Lord tells us, we as a people, not supposed to be eaten. You understand? Go ahead, Baba Kusha.
Thou shalt fear the Lord thy God and serve him.
Fear the Lord. How are we going to fear the Lord? By getting to understand the instructions that he leave for us so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. You understand? We should fear the Lord and serve him. How we as a people going to serve the Lord? Not by going into the Christian church and jumping up and beating tambourines and singing, hear my cry, O Lord. No. We have to serve the Lord by doing the things that he tells us to do. You understand? Christmas coming up, we're not supposed to be celebrating that. We as a people are supposed to be celebrating a high holy day or a feast day called YAHANNA in the Hebrew, which is the feast of dedication. You understand? This is what we're supposed to be gearing up to as a people. And right after that, we have the Feast of Purim. Right. Correct? That is the next feast we're supposed to be celebrating. Our people, we don't know about these things. That is going to show whereby the religious leaders have failed our people. The religious leaders is the most slimiest and snake oilest preacher I have outside right now.
Right.
They're not going to show our people, hey, this is what's going on. And our people put the trust in the religious leaders because they watch that man or that person as a man of God.
Right.
So they're going to put the trust in him. You understand? But putting a trust in the religious leader, he's not showing you, hey, these are the things the forefathers left us in this Bible. Go ahead and Baba Kusha.
Thou shalt fear the Lord thy God and serve him.
Fear the Lord and serve him. Go ahead.
And shall swear by his name.
Continue, Baba Kusha.
Ye shall not go after other gods.
Shall not what?
Shall not go after other gods.
We as a people not supposed to be going after other gods. Christmas is after another god. New Year's is after another god. Easter is after another god. Celebrating birthdays is after another god. All these religions, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, all these holidays of man is after another god. And we was warned about that. Why it is we as a people not going in and doing the history, doing the research to understand, hey, these things is after another god. You understand? If we truly desire, if we truly say we want to serve the Most High, time for we to listen, time for we to do the homework. You understand? And not make this trickle into our next generation again. Because we're going to be stuck in the same cycle that our parents were stuck in. You understand? And our great-grandparents, some of them died and gone, not knowing they're not supposed to be celebrating Christmas and Easter and birthdays. This is a serious time, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. Go ahead, Baba Kusha.
For the God of the people which are wrong about you.
You understand? Of the gods of the people which are wrong about us. The gods of the people. Didn't say the gods of black people or Hispanic or Native Indians. Moses was talking to the Israelites and he said the gods are wrong you. The Sasalak, not the gods. The people are wrong you. The gods are wrong you. You understand? Which are the gods of these other nations. We are not supposed to be going after these gods. We are supposed to search out the God of our forefather Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Just as Officer Swapiala was saying, you understand? And our King Yahawashi in the Hebrew, who the world knows as Jesus Christ. We're supposed to be seeking out these things. Give me verse 17, Baba Kushan, I will leave.
Verse 17. Ye shall diligently keep the commandments.
You shall diligently what?
Keep the commandments.
See, like how we just get up and go to work every morning diligently to serve the oppressor. We're supposed to be diligently keeping the laws, the commandments of the Most High God. You understand? The God of our forefathers. Go ahead.
For the Lord your God and his testimonies and his statutes which he hath commanded thee.
You understand? This is what we supposed to be doing, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. Seeking out the Most High laws, commandments, and statutes diligently.
God.
When we seek it out, we're supposed to be teaching our brothers and sisters who may not know, like what we're seeing the brothers and them in the studio here doing right now, under commanding General YAHANNA, under Christ. These are things that the religious leaders are supposed to be doing diligently, that will have our ghettos not being in the same place that it is in today. You understand? That our people that is hidden away, that some people will call cockroach and pest. You understand? And the good for nothing and blackhead chicken. These places will be absolutely different if they start understanding who the Most High is, if they start understanding the Most High laws, commandments, and statutes, if they start understanding that that next black man or that next black woman on the side of them is not the enemy, but the brother.
Right.
This is what you have to understand, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. Salakia Sawili.
Most thank Christ.
Most thank Christ.
Right, and you know, they draw a very valid point on all day, because again, you know, when we see a lot of us with swear, you know, to do a lot of different things, you know, follow the customs, follow the ways, and you know, the Lord as a father making us, you know, making it known to us, you know, just like, you know, as he say in verse 13, where he say that, you know, that the Lord thy God, you know, the Lord thy God, and serve him, right? And thou shalt swear by his name, right? Because now, just like, you know, our father, you know, giving instructions, and just like I read in verse 17, these is the things that we will swear, because now we are the only people, you know, that had that opportunity, where the Lord, you know, made us, you know, to have that covenant, you know, that covenant with him, right? And having that privilege, you know, to be part of this family, you know, we should always, you know that the things that we should really swear by is keeping these instructions. This is how we're going to, as we say, we're going to see that pathway. This is how we're going to understand, you know, what it means to love our brother. You know, again, what it means, you know, to have, you know, compassion, you know, towards, you know, this house or to this family, right? And in the city, in the time that, you know, being separated, as a father, you want brothers, hey, all come back. Stop having that beef with one another. That's why, again, as the scripture says, no longer shall Judah vex Ephraim, and no longer Ephraim shall vex Judah. Because now that split that these brothers had, you know, is you know, is like a wedge was drawn, was you know, wedge in the family, because of what? Because of just what we read. Taking up the customs and following the gods after these other nations around about us. And again, as we go to read, you had the one with the Christmas reading, right? As we're going to read about it, this is why we tell brothers and sisters, again, take notes, you know, pay attention, because now we didn't just, you know, come up with anything that, you know, that we just like will be taught in religion. You know, pray, you know, and ask the Lord, you know, and the Lord go. The Lord actually giving you this truth right now. As you say, your prayers is being answered with hearing this truth and having the opportunity to change. Because now, again, the Lord, I'll always say this, the Lord is do something. And all our life, you know, we cry for the truth, we ask the truth, and the Lord does bring the truth right there and rest it in front of you. And he say, look at here. Now the opportunity has changed a day. But now you know that change come from you. You now need to again make the application, just as we read in verse 17. We need to be diligent in keeping the instructions that our Father, as we say, left. The Most High God left. And through righteous black men, you know, teaching this is how you're going to, you know, obtain and to know how to be and how to learn to be diligent in keeping these instructions. Right? So, right?
Before we read the scripture, we just notifying on the number to call in if anyone would like to call in 342-0081, 466-5391, or 771-1791. Book of Jeremiah, chapter 10 and verse 1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel.
Right. So now, you know, we in the book again, Jeremiah being, you know, one of the men that the Lord chose, you know, a prophet of the Lord, you know, and in carrying out instructions, because many brothers, you know, that we read about, especially in our recorded history, you know, they would be, you know, they would have names again, and a lot of these names again in the translation of the Hebrew, right? I know it, you know, offhand, right? But again, this was, you know, a brother that was right in the spirit, because now through this brother, you know, a lot was, you know, instructed by him to do, just like the prophets Isaiah, you know, and Ezekiel, you know, Jeremiah being one of the prophets of the Lord, you know, was given instructions. This is why again I would start off with say here, right? And in hearing now, we need to pay attention again, and you join reference back to the classroom environment.
Right.
So now we at school, right? And the teacher is teaching. Now everybody needs, as you say, to take out the pen, take out the book, and as the scripture say, everything that we do, what you say to do, write it in a book.
Right.
Take notes, because in taking notes is very important. You will learn something, and now you could have, you know, as you say, information that they could draw reference to. And this is where again a lot of these, you know, as we say, groups, you know, came from, because they took information but they didn't finish, you know, as we say, the class.
Right.
It's like the information was too much, just like, you know, any you know, child, you know, as we say, being stubborn to learn, you know, they would neglect, you know, the teacher and his teachings, right? Right, go ahead.
Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel.
Right. So now it wasn't speaking to everybody.
Right.
And this is why again it clear. And we always say, hey, to come up against this or to challenge this, show me right here where Jeremiah the prophet speaking and he mentioned any other nation.
Right.
Just like we did in previous, you know, shows where we give a little insight on these other the names of these other nations. Now, Israel being a nation, you know, who is Israel? Israel was Jacob. Jacob had sons. His sons obtained, you know, his, as we say, his title,
right,
or his surname. So now they being who? Which we being, you know, offsprings of these sons, right? And again, all the line of the lineage come through, as we say, through the men. This is a privilege that these other nations know, and they would, again, through doctrine and philosophy, they would always try to use, you know, as say the opposite, to try to entangle a woman. And we know in the truth and understand, you know, that the woman is very vulnerable to deception.
Right.
Very, very vulnerable to deception, if not having that hedge or that head over her. And we know, just like we say, this time, how we learning, as we say, learning this in the world, we always say this time is woman time. So what right there, it shows you, since from we always give in to our women as Black men, Hispanic men, Native Indian men, because now we always want to see right, but there will always come a time where we need to, you know, to protect them,
right,
as you say, to enforce or to make them know you're ahead here. You can't go beyond this point. You can't go beyond this point. You want to go ask, you know, a question, you know, bring it, let me hear, you know, what you would like to do. And you being that hedge around them now, or that protection, now with the correct or right counsel, you could be able to do what, to have that protection. And this is how, you know, our women would be protected, right? So now, as it say, unto who? O house of Israel,
Right.
this family, Jacob's sons, the 12 tribes, the sons of Jacob.
Okay.
This is who this is directed to. Go ahead.
Verse 2. Thus saith the Lord.
Thus saith who?
Thus saith the Lord.
And these instructions come straight and direct from the Most High God. And how it comes straight and direct from the Most High God? Through, again, through righteous black men, following these instructions of their fathers before us. The time, as we say, through what we now read, through Moses. Because now, Moses being, as we say, at that time, to give or to bring this law into, as we say, into writing. Before Moses, these laws and them, were, as we say, was a custom and a practice through this family, through Abraham, through Isaac, and through Jacob. This was a practice.
Right.
And that practice was like a father teaching his children. That way, again, our records say no longer, as we say, but the law, it will be in inward parts. Now, as we start to learn this, where it would be, now we would know, hey, we're not supposed to do this. Just like you're not supposed to celebrate Christmas.
Right.
You're not supposed to celebrate, New Year's. You're not supposed to celebrate. These are ways, are customs of, as we say, of the heathen. Right? Go ahead.
Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen.
Right? And this is important because now we read before in Deuteronomy that these heathens then would be round about us. They would have other gods. They would practice their customs and their ways. Christmas being one of them. And we being, made to know or to be aware, this is what we should not do. We should not learn their ways.
Right.
Right? Go ahead.
Learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
Right. And don't be dismayed, or don't be, or have any concern of what is taking place. Right? Because now we understand that the Most High God is the creator of all things. Right? And everything that he creates now, our concerns is supposed to be follow these instructions, follow these laws, have some discipline in getting to know the truth and getting to know who you are and getting to know your identity. Have some concern about that. Right? Go ahead.
For the heathen are dismayed at them.
Why they are dismayed at them? Because there is a practice every day.
Right.
They must be dismayed at it. Because remember now, this is business, isn't it? What we were reading about is commerce. This is how they make, as we say, they can make, as we say, the bread. This is how they can utilize, as we say, this custom and have concerns about it. Because now, again, who own all, as we say, a lot of these, imports?
Right.
Who own all of these established, as we say, businesses? We don't see again a black man sitting on top of it. We don't see a Hispanic man sitting on top of it. We don't see a Native Indian man sitting on top of it.
Right.
And even though if they do, they still, as we say, they still, are limited. They still are here. They're still limited,
Right.
to a lot of things. Unlike the heathen, they would, as we say, they would be accessible to everything. Because now there's a family. They are a family. And just like family would do, they would network.
Right.
But you not being part of that family, they would always pull back and look with a concern and be unaware of what's taking place. And we, again, there are a lot of things that we could see inside our records, which is important to us. Right? Go ahead.
Cancel, like I said,
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
You understand? Just before we move on to verse 4 on the saying, do not be the heathens. You understand? For the customs of the people are vain. We have to understand that the customs that these other nations have is not beneficial, it's not profitable for our people. You understand? All these holidays that was made by men, these things is not profitable for the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. You understand? Scriptures tell us that the heathen are dismayed at the signs of heaven, just as the officer bringing out. You understand? We are not supposed to be dismayed at the eclipses. You understand? And all these things that we look up to the heavens to, worshiping the sun and the moon. You understand? All these are customs of the heathen, the other nations. These are things, some of the things that we pick up from when we was in Egypt. That is why when we just read earlier on, you understand? Our forefather Moses tell us, hey, don't forget the Lord. You understand? And coming down in our generation, we start picking up the customs of these other nations. That's why some of us are sun worshippers and moon worshippers. You understand? We look to the stars for signs. I'm not saying they can't. Our foreparents from before looked at the stars for navigation to move from point A to point B. You understand? But the heathens, they worship the stars. They worship the moon. They worship the sun. You understand? Eclipses coming, they worship that. They are dismayed at the signs of heaven. And our forefathers telling us, hey, don't be dismayed at them. Telling us the heathen, these other nations around you, the people outside this 12 tribe, they are dismayed at that.
Just one thing to build on the point that you're bringing across. In today's world, basically, these how the heathens just get to we people.
Right.
And what I mean we people that sleeping, that not in the truth.
Right.
Just touching on the heading of the scripture here. This is from 1 Ezra 8:69. It talk about the other nations and them as being a pollution. You understand? And how there's a pollution to we people, like we people be going about the normal life,
right,
working and things like that, and they'll tell you, you know, it's Christmas, you ever eat a piece of pork, boy?
Right.
Say like, you know, they'll be thinking, nah, pork real sweet, you know,
right,
pork real sweet. You understand? That sweet meat, boy. Or if I eat a piece of a wild hog,
right,
but a real sweet, boy. You understand? So they come into you like somebody saying next to you with a cigarette.
right.
You understand? They're polluting your mind.
Right.
You understand? To getting into these things that if you had been in the truth, you would have known this is unlawful.
Right.
You understand? I don't care how sweet it tastes to you, but it's unlawful to me. You understand? So that is something that important to know, because that is how the heathens and them has get a lot of people.
Yeah, what read it there?
Can.
Yes, sir. 1 Ezra chapter 8 and verse 69. The nation of Israel, the princes, the priests, and Levites have not put away from them the strange people of the land, nor the pollutions of the Gentiles, to wit, of the Canaanites, Hittites, Perizzites, Jebusites, and Moabites, Egyptians, and Edomites.
I'm not talking about the Edomites, talking about the so-called oppressor, right? And this is his main holiday. The main holiday is Christmas, you know, where they encourage a lot of we people, the same way being a pollution unto them, to go into the churches and them and sit down Christmas Day and eat pork.
Right.
And get pork tapeworms. You understand? Which is something we're going into the next class. How dangerous pork tapeworms is. You understand? The being in that way being a pollution to we people.
You know, again, you know, everything that is being said, you know, again, it should be taken. Notes should be taken.
Right.
And again, to prove, as you say, or to go and ask these questions, right? Because these questions is questions that, you know, a lot of people or brothers and sisters would have on their minds, right? And in hearing this now, they would want to take it, you know, to their religious organization or their groups, and you know, knowing again, or the person or the persons who head that group, you know, their way is always again to not enlighten you about this truth, right? And again, that the mindset, you know, of our person. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Where we at right now?
We could go into verse 3. Book of Jeremiah, chapter 10 and verse 3. For the customs of the people are vain.
Right.
For one cutteth a tree out of the forest the work of the hands of the workman with the axe.
Right. So again, this is just proof, that you know this was happening way before. Way before, even before our King Jesus Christ or Yahweh, because a lot of, as again, the customs and the ways that of our oppressors is to make it known around this time would be the celebration or the birth of Jesus Christ, and that's something as well. Again, it have a lot of topics right in this this small
Right.
breakdown to cover. But again, we're going to cover all,
Right.
because why? This was always the job of who? Of the men that the Lord chose.
Right.
Jeremiah doing his work here, making sure that this information is being known to us.
Right.
It say that one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the hands of the workman. Who does that around this time?
Right.
Anybody who is going to, as we say, to practice or follow the custom and the way, as we say, are the heathen know around this time is where they would have a lot business, as we say, with skyrocket commerce.
Right.
This is all that is on their mind, commerce. And the warning is to us, do follow their ways.
Okay.
Because now they will leave you, as we say, how you say, come January, in the beginning, as we say, of their new year.
Right.
A lot of our people who take loans, who take, who, as we say, take out things on terms, come January. Just like as scripture say, and around that time is the dead of winter,
Right.
cold, nothing. Can't do nothing. So what we see in here now is something that is taking place way in the, as we say, almost, as you say, thousands of years before, as you say, before King Yahushua. Right? Go ahead.
Can. Verse 4. They deck it with silver and with gold.
Right, and this is part of the history that we're going to teach or bring or highlight, to make known to brothers and sisters what these decorations were.
Right.
What these decorations were. So now we see the same thing happening. Now, if any caller could call and explain as we read a little more what we reading about right now. What we're reading about right now.
Right.
In the book of Jeremiah. The same, as we say, the same Bible, hopefully, that that it is open on any given day that you gather together in a group.
Right.
In your organization. What we're reading about right now. So if, as we say, your group leader come out direct to you, or you have never heard it before, right? They read a little more.
Can. Verse 4. They deck it with silver and with gold.
Mm-hmm.
They fasten it with nails,
right,
and with hammers that it move not.
Right. Read a little more.
Can. They are upright as the palm tree,
mm-hmm,
but speaketh not.
Mm-hmm.
They must needs be born,
Mm-hmm.
because they cannot go.
Right.
Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil.
Mm-hmm.
Neither also it is in them to do good.
Right. And what we just read about this thing that is upright and is fastened on with decorations. This is what today you would be known today to you, your Christmas tree.
Right.
This is your Christmas tree right here. And again, it recorded right here. How come that again these groups or these organizations have not highlighted this to our family?
Right.
Because now remember again, they're supposed to be gatekeepers. And again, just like it's saying Jeremiah, I think it's same Jeremiah 14 and 1. Read that one back, which say the Jews mourn it.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 14 and verse 1. The word of the Lord that came to Jeremiah concerning the earth. Verse 2. Judah mourneth.
Right.
And the gates thereof languish.
Right. So we read in chapter 10 about a custom, about a practice, a way of the heathen. Now reading as you say in chapter 14 that we take up that custom, we take up that practice. What happened to us now? When you do have, as you say, to give your children around this time, because now we see what's going on right now. We're not blind to what's taking place right now in the economy. We're not blind to what's taking place right now, as we say, in the industry. Now what happening? Now we know what happening. A lot of our brothers, as we say, seeking other ways to meet the demands of these customs, to meet the demands of putting up this tree, to deck it with silver and gold, so their children would understand or to know that, hey, daddy love you, mommy love you. Not knowing that this practice or this custom, as you say, cause pain, it cause sorrow. It cause heartache. In a time where we as a people should, as we say, should be disciplined and speaking out to know these laws, these statutes, these commandments, just as you read in Deuteronomy. To swear by the law that we're going to keep this, to tell the father, hey, daddy, I'm going to keep the instructions right. Any time I move away, it can bring harm to me. I'm going to teach my brother. I'm going to teach my younger siblings the importance of this. The ones that as we say, that I'm going to let them know because I love them. You say, for this is the love of God that we should do. We should keep his commandments, keep his instructions. 1 John 5 and 3. These are things that we say, being as we say, new in the truth, as the scripture say, newborn babes desire the sincere milk of the word. These are things, as you say, these are things that if was taught correctly, and as you say, righteous black men or these leaders taught correctly, we would have known our identity way before, as we say, the men who the Lord, as we say, bring this truth through. But again, everything has an order and a structure inside of it. And we as a people, our family, must go through that. This is how we're going to eat. So when they hear, as you say, by the sweat that I brow, man shall eat bread. Who man he talking about? How are we going to learn this truth? As I say, we have to work faith. You feel it's just so we're going to, as you say, obtain it. This come with work, and that work come now from you. From you now again, putting on or putting away, as you say, that old personality and renewing your mind and knowing, hey, to get yourself in this work, actually in this work. Not the work where you support or as you say, build the empire of our oppressor. But the work to build back your family, to build back this household, to build back this people, to build back this nation. This is important to us, right? Yeah, anymore you are add anything?
Yes, sir. Just as the officer was bringing out, what they're talking about in Jeremiah 10 is indeed, when you think about it, a man going into the forest, he cut down a tree with an axe. We know it to be the pine tree, like one variation of the tree, right? The pine tree. They deck it with silver and with gold. You go in any mall today, you would see that tree decked with silver and gold balls. You understand? And back then, they used to fasten it to your house, like moving up. They still just put it in your house today. And they put the presents and things underneath the tree, right? But the Bible wanted to make it so clear that it showed the other variation of the tree as well. Because it have a variation of the tree that the poor man basically could afford. Because we know the pine tree and thing is more, we oppressor. In America, there's used the real pine tree. You know, so we're going to touch on that now. The man, Isaiah 40, 19 and 20.
Book of Isaiah, chapter 14, 40, and verse 19. The workman melted a graven image, and the goldsmith spreadeth it over with gold, and casted silver chains.
Right. So that going in, showing you how to create idolatry. Right. Go ahead.
Verse 20. He that is so impoverished that he had no oblation, chooseth a tree that will not rot.
Right. So he that's so impoverished, he that's so poor, you understand, going to choose a tree at this time that cannot rot. You understand? What tree that cannot rot that we people just choose? A plastic tree.
Right.
You understand? A plastic tree with the same, decked with the same silver and gold balls on it. You understand? So, first the Most High, the way to keep this celebration, he show you it in the pine tree form in the book of Jeremiah, and in the book of Isaiah, he show it in the plastic form. You understand? And this is where all our people just have in the house come Christmas morning.
Right.
Right?
You understand? You officer bringing out there that it's heavy, it's serious. And black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, we as a people, we have to understand. Time for me to start asking religious leaders questions before it's too late. When I say before it's too late, not that he will be right. You understand? But before it will be too late, that you, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, might be able to pass the right thing to your children. But again, those are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under commanding General YAHANNA is open 24/7 to the black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, woman, and child. You understand? I'm just saying, just a touch a little bit on slack, yes, if I mean. You'll show what's going on before I was talking about the stand your ground low. Time out? Time done? Oh, time done.
All right.
Pull on here.
Yeah.
Oh,
all right.
I know, see. Yeah, we just get a little on the time, right? So black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, look out for us next Thursday at 7 p.m. Myself, Officer Barriat, Officer Swapiala, you understand, we'll be here again. Bring your questions, bring your comments, bring your query. So
also again, you know, even though you know that there might be other brothers as well too that might be, you know, be present on the show as well. So again, stay tuned, you know, again to any, you know, information that will be brought out again. Check out our webpage, ISUPK Tobago, right? And you know, keep, you know, checking it out because there's, you know, our upcoming food and clothing drive, you know, to be, you know, scheduled date, you know, that will be announced. That, yeah, sure.
Shalom.